starts with a look. Not just any look, but that quiet, unblinking stare your cat gives you when the world is still. No sound, no movement, just their eyes locked onto yours like they're seeing something deeper than what's on the surface. In that moment, it almost feels like they know something you don't. Like they're studying you, or maybe remembering you in a way you can't understand. And you've probably wondered at least once, what do they actually see? Do they see you as their owner, the one who feeds them, cleans up after them, keeps them safe? Or is something far stranger happening behind those calm, watchful eyes? Because here's the truth that most people never realize. Your cat doesn't see you the way you see yourself. Not even close. To them, you are not a clear face, not a detailed expression, not even a fully defined shape. You are something softer, blurrier, almost like a presence more than a person. If you stood just a few feet away, smiling or frowning or making the silliest face imaginable, your cat wouldn't catch those details the way another human would. Those tiny changes you think matter so much, they fade into nothing in your cat's world. But that doesn't mean you're invisible to them. In fact, it's the opposite. What your cat does notice is everything else. The way your hand moves slightly before you reach for something. The rhythm of your steps as you walk across the room. The almost imperceptible shift in your posture when you're tired or stressed or calm. These are the details that light up their senses. These are the things that define you in their mind. And then there's your voice. Even if your face is just a blur to them, your voice cuts through everything like a signature they could never forget. The tone, the pitch, the rhythm, these are the pieces that form their understanding of you. It's why you can call their name softly from another room and they'll respond instantly, but show them a photo of yourself and it means nothing at all. Because your cat doesn't recognize you by how you look. They recognize you by how you exist. By the sound you make when you open the fridge. By the way you always move toward their bowl at a certain time. By the quiet patterns you repeat every single day without even thinking about it. To you, these are habits. To your cat, they are identity. You are not a face. You are a rhythm. And slowly, over time, your cat builds a version of you, not from your appearance but from your behavior. A living pattern of movement, sound, and energy that becomes familiar, predictable, safe. That's why even the smallest disruption can confuse them. Change your routine, come home at a different time, move differently, speak in a sharper tone, and suddenly something feels off in their world. Not because you look different but because the pattern they trust has shifted. The version of you they know has changed even if just slightly. And that's when you start to realize something deeper. To your cat, you're not defined by what you are, but by what you do. You are the one who fills the silence with a familiar voice. The one who moves through their space in a way they've come to expect. The one whose presence feels steady, like a constant in a world that could otherwise feel uncertain. You might think you're the one observing them, trying to understand their mysterious behavior. But all along, they've been doing the same to you. Watching, learning, memorizing. Not your face but your essence. And in their quiet, instinctive way, they've already answered the question you're still asking. They know exactly who you are. Just not in the way you ever imagined. And this is where everything begins to shift. Because once you understand that your cat doesn't see you by your face, a deeper question quietly takes its place. If they don't recognize you the way humans recognize each other, then how do they feel about you? The answer isn't simple. It's not something you can point to or measure. It lives in the small moments, the quiet gestures that seem almost meaningless, until you start to see them for what they really are. Your cat doesn't define you by species. They don't look at you and think, this is a human. That category, that label, it doesn't exist in their world. Instead, they build their understanding of you from something far more personal, your behavior. Every time you walk into a room, every time you speak, every time you reach down to touch them, you're leaving behind a pattern. And your cat is always watching, always recording. Not consciously, not like we do, but instinctively, as if their mind is stitching together a map of who you are based on how you make them feel. You become the sound of safety. The movement that means food is coming. The presence that fills the space with calm, or tension. And slowly, without you ever noticing, your cat begins to place you somewhere very specific in their world. Not above them. Not below them. But beside them. Like one of their own. It sounds strange at first, almost impossible, but think about the way your cat behaves around you. The way they rub against your legs, pressing their scent into you as if marking you as familiar. The way they gently bump their head against your chin, or curl up next to you without hesitation. These aren't random acts of affection. These are the same signals cats use with each other. In their mind, you are not some distant, separate creature. You are part of their circle. Their group. Their quiet, unspoken family. And when they bring you things, A toy, a leaf, even something you wish they hadn't found. They're not confused. They're not making a mistake. They're including you. Sharing with you in the only language they truly know. It's not about ownership. It's about belonging. Which is why your cat doesn't try to dominate you or submit to you in the way a dog might. That hierarchy doesn't exist here. There's no leader, no follower. Just a shared space built on trust and familiarity. But then, something even deeper begins to reveal itself. Because sometimes your cat doesn't just treat you like another cat. Sometimes, they treat you like something more. Think about the moments when they follow you from room to room, never quite letting you out of their sight. Or the way they settle beside you when you're not feeling well, staying close without asking for anything in return. The soft, repetitive kneading of their paws against your lap, like they're remembering something from a long time ago. These aren't just habits. They're echoes. Fragments of a bond that began long before you ever met them. When your cat curls up on you and begins that slow, rhythmic kneading, they're not just getting comfortable. They're reaching back into a memory, a time when warmth meant safety, when closeness meant survival. When the world was simple and everything they needed came from one place. And somehow, that feeling has followed them into your life. You've become more than a companion in their eyes. You've become a source of comfort, of reassurance, of something they don't fully understand but deeply trust. It's why they call out to you in ways they wouldn't with other cats. That soft, persistent meow, almost like a conversation they expect you to answer. It's why they stay close when you're quiet or restless when you leave. Because your presence isn't just familiar, it's grounding. To you, it might feel like affection, like simple attachment. But to your cat, it's something far more instinctive. You are the place they return to when the world feels uncertain. The one constant in a space defined by change. And without ever saying a word, they've built that connection with you, piece by piece, moment by moment. Not because of what you are, but because of how you've made them feel again and again. And once you start to see it that way, their quiet behavior doesn't feel so mysterious anymore. It feels intentional, feels real. And it begins to feel like something much deeper than you ever expected. And just when you think you've understood the depth of that connection, your cat reveals something even more extraordinary. Because the bond you share with them isn't just built on comfort or routine. It goes beyond that. It reaches into something quieter, almost invisible, your emotions. Have you ever noticed how your cat behaves when you're not quite yourself? On days when everything feels heavy, when your energy drops and your thoughts drift somewhere distant, they seem to know. Maybe they sit a little closer than usual. Maybe they rest beside you without asking for attention, their presence calm and steady, like they're holding space for something they can't see but can somehow feel. And when you're relaxed, lighter, more at ease, they change too. They become softer, more playful, more open. It's as if your inner world quietly reshapes theirs. This isn't coincidence. Your cat is constantly reading you, not through words but through the subtle signals you don't even realize you're giving. The way your body moves, the tension in your muscles, the tone of your voice, even the invisible shifts that come with stress or calm, all of it becomes part of the story they're always interpreting. You might think they're simply watching, but in their own silent way, they're responding, adjusting, balancing, as if your emotional state is something they feel responsible for navigating alongside you. And that changes everything. Because now your presence in their life isn't just physical. It's emotional. You're not just part of their environment, you're part of their atmosphere. Which is why your absence can feel so heavy to them. When you leave, even for a short time, something shifts in their world. The rhythm breaks. The familiar pattern they've come to rely on disappears, leaving behind a quiet gap they don't fully understand. It's not just that you're gone, it's that something essential is missing from the space itself. To your cat, home isn't just walls and furniture. It's you moving through it. It's the sound of your footsteps, the presence you bring into every room, the unspoken reassurance that everything is as it should be. You're woven into the very structure of their world, like a thread that holds everything together. And when that thread is pulled away, even briefly, they feel it. That's why they follow you. Why they wait near doors. Why they settle into your belongings when you're not there. They're not just being curious or clingy. They're trying to stay connected to something that, to them, feels essential. And then there are the moments that feel almost human. The way your cat watches you without blinking, as if searching for something deeper. The slow blink they offer, soft and deliberate, like a quiet gesture of trust. The way they choose to sleep beside you, exposing their most vulnerable side without hesitation. In the wild, sleep is when a cat is most at risk. So when they choose to rest near you, on your bed, on your chest, pressed gently against your side, they're making a decision that goes beyond comfort. They're choosing trust. Complete, unguarded trust. Because in their mind you are safe. Not just familiar. Not just tolerated. Safe. And that kind of trust doesn't come from instinct alone. It's built. Slowly. Carefully. Through every interaction, every moment where you showed them, without even realizing it, that they could rely on you. That you would be there. That you wouldn't hurt them. That your presence meant something steady in a world that can sometimes feel unpredictable. And over time, that trust transforms into something even deeper. Attachment. Not the simple kind we often assume, but something layered, emotional, almost reflective. Your cat doesn't just exist beside you, they build a version of you in their mind, shaped by every experience you've shared. A version that remembers the sound of your voice when you're gentle, the way you move when you're calm, the feeling of being close to you when everything else fades into the background. And that memory stays with them. It shapes how they see you, not just today but tomorrow and the days after that. So the next time your cat looks at you, really looks at you, in that quiet, still way, pause for a moment. Because you might think you're just seeing a pet. But in their eyes, you're something else entirely. You're not a human. You're not separate. You're not just the one who feeds them or shares their space. You are part of their world. Part of their comfort. Part of their emotional story. Maybe even something they can't name, but would never want to lose. And that leaves one final question, lingering quietly beneath everything else. If your cat feels this deeply, if they build memories of you this way, then what do they carry with them over time? What moments stay? What emotions last? Because the truth is, your cat may remember more than you ever imagined.